Okay, now on some problems, it's actually easier to investigate the probability of the complement or, being outside of a set than it is to actually investigate the set itself, okay? So, let's say the probability Okay. Now, these are the symbols that we use in this book, but in other classes, you'll see the complement written as a dash over the top or a little dash right here. Just kind of be careful about that. They all mean the same thing. So the probability of the complement of event. So we want to ask the question of a probability that event is not going to happen. Okay? So, if we're asking about the probability of an event that is not going to happen, why would we ever want to investigate something like this? Well, let's say we're playing craps. Or I should phrase it that way. We're rolling dice, okay? And so we have two dice. And you can ask the question, okay. So I've got two dice, and I want to know what is the probability of not rolling a 7. So if I don't want to roll a 7, well, what are all the possible choices that I could get? I mean, I could get a snake eyes, I can get a 3 or 4 or 5, 6, all the way up until 12. So you don't want to, in this case, you don't want to try to investigate every single possible case where you didn't roll a 7, okay? Let's just look at the cases where we did roll a 7, okay? So I've got two dice, and we're playing craps, and I asked the question, what is the probability that I don't roll a 7? Okay. Well, let's look at the cases where we did roll a 7. Well, what are all those cases that we end up with? Well, I could roll a 1 and a 6, a 2 and a 5, a 3 and a 4, alternatively a 6 and a 1, a 5 and a 2, and a 4 and a 3. And those are the probabilities of actually rolling a 7 with a pair of dice. So how do all right, so the probability of an event, the probability of rolling a 7 would equal the number of possible outcomes that would give you 7 divided by the sample space. And now the sample space would be 6 times 6, because we have one dice rolling 6 and one dice rolling 6, and they can repeat themselves. So the possibilities is 36. So the probability of rolling a 7 is going to equal, well, 6 divided by 36, which is going to equal 1 out of 6. Okay? So that would mean that the probability of of the complement, meaning we're not going to roll a 7, would equal 1 minus 1 divided by 6, which would equal 5 divided by 6.